You don't need an architect to design your new home. Shocking, right? An architect telling you that you don't need to hire an architect. But the fact of the matter is, if you're building a new home or looking to renovate your home, there are many different options. And today I'd like to go over a few of those. Hi, this is Chris from N3 Architecture, and today we're talking about the different options that you have if you're looking to build a new home or maybe even renovate your existing home. So everybody has different goals, everybody has different constraints and opportunities, and custom architecture is not the solution for everyone. And new construction is also not the solution for everyone. So what are your options? You can have your home custom designed by an architect. You can purchase a plan set that was created by a local architect. You can purchase a plan set that was created by a local contractor or developer. You can purchase a production home. You can buy a stock plan online. You can renovate and add on to your existing house, or purchase another home to renovate and add on to. Or you could even find a home that meets all of your needs that doesn't require any renovation or additions. Housing is a critical necessity, and far too many people don't have access to adequate housing. Finding a safe and comfortable place to live for you and your family is the top priority. And there's such a wide variety of options about ways that you can go about buying a house or building a house or renovating a house, and there's not a one-size-fits-all for everyone. So you need to think about what's best for you and your family. And what I don't want is I don't want you or any of my clients to overextend themselves financially. I don't want you to build something so large and so extravagant that you're not able to provide for yourself or your family in other ways. I would much rather see someone purchase a production home rather than design something that might be out of their price range and put themselves into a bad place. Now, that doesn't mean custom homes have to cost more, and a lot of times they don't. That's a big misconception out there where people think that hiring an architect and designing a custom home is just for the wealthy. It's not. There's a lot of things that you can do when designing a new home to make it custom to you that don't cost any money at all. And so while custom design is a benefit, and there are the types of people who want something extravagant, it doesn't always have to be that way, and I want to make that clear. And I want you to think of your architect as your guide that's going to help you through your project. Someone who's been there before, who's gone through it a dozen times, 20 times, 100 times, and can help you with all the tough situations and the tough decisions that you're going to have to make. If you think about it, sometimes you might even end up paying more for a production home, because oftentimes production homes are designed to appeal to the masses, and they're not always designed very well, and sometimes they have a lot of wasted space, and they may have a generic style that you don't relate to. No matter which direction you go in, my recommendation to you is to always spend more money on your building envelope and your mechanical systems. Your envelope being your exterior walls, insulation, siding, windows, your roofing, your roof insulation, the things that are harder to change later on. You want to get those right from the beginning. And doing things right doesn't always mean putting spray foam insulation on everything. Things like your building envelope and your mechanical systems are a lot harder to change later. So even if you're looking into the production home or a stock plan built home, talk to your builder about upgrades to the efficiency and the envelope systems. So what do you get? First, let's talk about a home that's custom designed by an architect. First off, you get a home that's tailored to your specific needs and to your specific site conditions. You most likely get a better design. Sorry to people who design stock homes, but most of the time when you have a custom designed home, it's going to be a better design. You get a licensed professional to help you and guide you through each step of the project. Someone who acts as your advocate and looks out for your best interest. Not just your best interest, but the best interest of your home. And I would say out of all the options, this is the least likely to have problems. Your next option might be to find a plan set that was designed by a local architect. The great thing about this option is that since a local architect is involved, you know that they will be familiar with your local climate and building conditions. You also get an advocate because the local architect can still guide you through the design decisions that you can make, and can also help you select a contractor, and can also be with you through construction. And you do have some possibility for some changes. So this could be a really good option for you. Your next option might be a plan set that was designed by a local contractor or developer. Here you have some of the same benefits where being familiar with the local conditions come into play. Most likely these plans are going to be drawn by an unlicensed drafter. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're bad, but most likely that unlicensed drafter has not gone through the same education and training experience as a licensed architect would have. You do get the benefit of most of the time that particular contractor has built that particular house a number of times, so there's gonna be very little questions or problems that come up in the construction of the actual physical home. There could be still some surprises with the site or the utilities, but the building of the physical home, since the contractor has done it before on that exact plan set, means it could be a streamlined, efficient, easy construction period. And with this option, you still might have the ability to make some changes to the plan and the layout, but not a whole lot, because the contractor wants to stick with what they know. This is a plan that they've developed. This is a plan that they've built, and deviation from that plan, changing things too dramatically, while it can be done, it will reduce that sort of efficiency level. Your next option will be a production home that you purchase from a local developer or a local builder. In this option, you're going to get very few or absolutely no ability to change the plan or the layout. As a matter of fact, the home may already be in construction before you even make the purchase. You're going to get very little opportunity to have any input into increasing the building envelope and efficiency of the house. You will have the ability to make some choices, but those choices are most likely going to be regulated towards finishes. And a lot of times you're not even going to have a full gamut of choices. It's going to be like, here are your flooring samples, you can choose A or B. Here are your siding choices, A or B. Here are your roofing choices, or here's your cabinets, you can use this style cabinet or that style cabinet. This production home is going to be a new home, which is good, but more than likely it's going to be a code minimum home, which is most likely built as cheaply as possible. And that's not a shot at the contractors who are building these homes. I'm not trying to say that these homes are built shoddy or that there's poor craftsmanship, because a lot of times they're built really well in terms of the craftsmanship. But you just got to think that the goal of production homes is to make as much money as possible for the developer. So if you have a developer that's clear cut a piece of land and they're putting in a new subdivision and they're going to be a series of production homes, their goal is not to give you the best home possible or the most comfortable home possible or the home that will be specific to your needs. Their goal is to put as much money into their pockets as they possibly can. So while they're structurally sound and crafted well, it's going to be to that code minimum level. You're not going to find anything above code minimum. Your next option would be to purchase stock plans online. And with this, you have many different options to choose from in any style that you can possibly imagine. And you do have the potential to make some changes to the layout if you pay a little bit more. Some of the options that you'll find from stock plans are actually really well designed. Some of the options that you find in stock plans are really poor designs, and it can be overwhelming searching through all of the different options from all of the different stock plan companies. Now, some of these stock plan companies do have licensed architects that are creating designs for them, and that's good, but it's really hard to tell which ones do and which ones don't. And a lot of times these online stock plan companies will also have their own in-house draftspeople creating their own plans. And if the stock plan company's goal is to make money, whose plans do you think they're going to push to the top of the list? Do you think they're going to push to the top the plans that they create, that they can sell, or outside architects that also will have their plans on there? They're going to push their own plans. So you got to keep that in mind. The designs that you get from purchasing stock plans online are most likely going to be very generic, again, to appeal to the masses. Most likely they're designed for a perfectly flat lot, They are not going to be designed for your local climate conditions, so you're going to have to work closely with your builder to make sure that what's not addressed in the design and in the drawings gets implemented in construction. So that's an added hassle. And on top of that, you're going to have to hire a structural engineer because there's going to be no structural information on these drawings, or very little structural information. Because if you're designing for people to purchase anywhere in the world, then how can you design a structure for the local conditions? If you don't know, there's a lot of local regulations that go into the structure of your home. So that's the framing, the foundation, the reinforcement. Different parts of the country and different parts of the world have vastly different requirements. So you're gonna end up purchasing the stock plan, and then you're gonna have to hire a local structural engineer anyways, which is gonna cost you almost as much as hiring an architect from the start. Looking at stock plans to figure out what you like and what you don't like is a good suggestion though, and I recommend people do that. And then your final option might be a renovation or an addition. This is going to be your most sustainable option, as keeping something that's already existing is always going to be more sustainable than building something new and using new resources. Going with a renovation and addition, you may face limitations on what you're allowed to build, which will most likely be dictated by your local zoning ordinances. And you may or may not be able to improve the existing envelope and systems, unless you want to sort of rip everything down to the studs. And something else to think of with a renovation or addition: depending on the size and the scope, you're most likely going to have to move out of your house while the work is underway. Whichever direction you choose, just keep your end goals in mind. I mean, obviously, it's a financial decision, but I would say the fees associated with each of these options are so close that it shouldn't be the driving factor. So I would have you think about, what do you value? Is paying a little bit more money to have someone guide you through each step of the project and give you good advice and make sure that you don't get into a bad situation, is that worth a few $1,000s? Especially when most likely you've never been through a construction project before. Or do you value comfort and you want your home to be comfortable? Do you value peace of mind? Or do you value individuality and having something unique? You need to consider all of these things and more. What do you value? And then choose the way forward that most directly aligns with your values. Thanks.